June is the month to allow duality. Before you do, be. Make communing with the outdoors a focus and enjoy the growing light. This month, not everything in your garden has to be perfect for your garden to be perfect. Welcome to Biophilic. I'm Angela Wallace. Direct from the back garden, this is episode 2, Midsummer. We laugh in petals, green everywhere, shooting up and up, growing out at angles, angels of perennial growth. This is the first year since starting a nature garden that I'm allowing and accepting the racing plants and budding fruits. No cutting back, no endless jobs, and even less tidying up. More enjoyment of shapes and forms, rose petals scattering the paving, and we laugh in petals, breathing in and out all the while. Taxi for asparagus. The asparagus bed is set to ferning. It's summer's party, wild and free-flowing, spilling out unruly. It is important to observe the 6 to 8 week cropping window. By now, in mid-June, the underground crowns must be allowed to rest and absorb energy from the sun. This ferning growth allows the plants to complete their annual cycle. I went out tonight to top the bed with 1 bag of shop-bought seaweed-enriched peat-free compost. A special treat for these vitamin K and folate-rich beauties. Then up went the bed guards, sturdy plastic sheets to edge the bed. The intention is that they keep the path clear of partygoers for a little time yet. Thank you for being so delicious, asparagus. Eat you again next year. Order and decay. Paths are interesting things. They can lead us one way or another, straight ahead or round a bend. This evening, I spent a few happy hours weeding and tidying the path around the veg beds. Fixing slates and chips, I pulled out baby verbena and fireweed, but left my favourites, the forget-me-not. The area looked better, I felt better, and in all the growth and wildness, these paths offer certainty. I also took the time to plant up my 3 supermarket basil cuttings and a vegetarian oyster into their forever for now pots, green ceramic and terracotta fellas. 14 perennial kales were also moved into bigger plastic pots. I want these brassicas big and strong for planting out. To finish up, I fed everything with some funky smelling liquid feed. Wow! From rot comes life. We bask in Litha, Midsummer. Blessings to you today. The stars have aligned and your garden is irrepressible, bursting forth, ripping at the seams with goodness and green. This is the day to harvest garlic planted out at Yule, midwinter. To lift these restorative bulbs, press a hand fork into the soil around 3 inches from the bulb, getting underneath and lifting carefully. Remove soil gently from the roots. Taking your time, repeat this action until all your bulbs are lifted. Enjoy the process. I like to sit on a stool and take my time. Once they are all above ground, born, if you like, I lay each long stem bulb out to dry on sheets of newspaper, sending a photo to family declaring, Happy Midsummer. I do a lot of sitting, you'll have noticed. I sat tonight in our little repurposed gazebo. The grasses, foxtail, cocksfoot, timothy and fogflower, have grown up and surrounded the whole structure. They are lovely, their beauty apparent. Ideally, I could cut, dry and display them, but for now, I'll sit in amongst them and watch life going about its business on the pond as the day ends. A luscious sky signalled, while closing the blind, underlit yellow sun bouncing off full-bodied grey clouds. Succulent holiday. Since being released into the wild last month, the back patio has housed my succulent crassulas, or jade plants, which now need divided, refreshed and potted on. These include Crassula ovata, a readily available variety with an upright fleshy habit, brilliantly green, and like all crassulas, so easy to grow. Crassula ovata gollum, or finger jade, steadily grows a sturdy trunk whose stems and fleshy leaves give the plant a tree-like effect. Another favourite is Crassula cat's tongue. This plant has more silvery tones and fuzzy-looking leaves. I repotted mine, repurposing soil and grit, into a rectangular terracotta planter, topped with more grit. Its glaucously silver minty tones look delightful. Job complete, they were watered and fed, and then moved to decorate the front step. Thrive, my beauties. The wild strawberries were deep red and bursting to be picked. I popped them into a small glass half full. A wander up the garden found some big red fellas ripe for the picking. Gathering this generous handful, the kitchen pot called for some jam. 300 grams of strawberries, 200 grams caster sugar, a splash of water and 20 minutes rolling boil made a jar of jam for Danny. Stored for now at the back of the cool, dark pantry cupboard, awaiting the gifting time. This garden animal. The garden glowed today, bristling green in the heat. It growls like a predatory animal. I left it to itself, doing its thing, sustaining life, pushing, growing, evolving, only venturing out later in the day once the heat of this reverberating white sun had moved round the house. To strawberries I went with my youngest child. The raspberries are coming on, almost there, a few to be had, popped straight into the mouth. And the black currants, plants from our driveway neighbour, their round, black, bitter sweeties were frozen in a tiny tub for later. The first of the froglets have been in our pond for about a week now. Tiny, honestly tiny, fully formed frogs the size of a tadpole. They hang around at the sloped edge. Amazing. Mostly very dark brown, mottled with pure black eyes. Their front legs still a little translucent and a nub of a tail in evidence. They are forever part of this garden now. Living, breathing, hopping happy. Inherited plants. When we first moved here, one of the few plants in the ground was a magnificent, large-leaved blue-green hosta that grew every year without fail. Stunning. A few years ago, we divided it into 3 to repeat down the border. This year, the plant nearest the path has been a grand meal for the voracious gastropods. In the times before I fell hard for nature gardening, this annihilated plant would have been concerning. But as the years roll on in this space, I feel less responsibility and desire to make the situation suit the plant. The plant has to thrive and cope in its situation. It is freeing, this looseness. A break of tension needed, savoured and accepted. And the light at this time of year is all things at all times. At 9 p.m. it is bright enough to be midday, the sky alight and blue refusing to give in, extending the day with an eerie diffuse feeling, joyous and joyful. And the dawns, beginning at 4 a.m, are light and warm enough to be out by 5, watering, pottering, planning, enjoying, soaking up so much daylight. and storing it like a solar panel. A neglectful mother. Invest in fruit trees for your garden, like you invest in yourself. Every space benefits from having a tree trained against a wall or fence. Apples fare well on a north or east facing aspect. They will reward you giving time, like most things. They will hone your patience and pleasure of growing in all ways. I've been neglectful of the duo apple trees purchased earlier in the year. A duo tree has 2 varieties of fruit grafted onto one tree, such as Bramley for cooking and Braeburn for eating. The trees have made it into the orchard, but I haven't given them a good drink for some time. So I went out early to rectify this negligence. It was very windy. A volunteer lilac poppy had been hugging where the path and the rhubarb patch meet. On stepping out, I saw the powerful wind was a murderer, the poppy cruelly slain in its prime. Moved by the tragic loss of its flower and seed, I rescued it, trimming the end and displaying it in a stange of water. We do what we can. At this halfway point of the season, in the peak of midsummer, it is wise to stop and take stock of all the marvellous bounty, beauty and joy the garden has brought so far. All the plants, flowers and food your space has offered. So what are you growing? What do you love? I love growing really hardy perennials like asparagus and soft fruits, the easy wins that come back year after year. Your patch is for rest, consolation, drama and life. Your nature garden aims to be as untidy as you can bear. You will find this gets easier as the years roll on, this release of power and control, bringing life into a space and space into your life. I had hoped begins every best laid plan. I had hoped to have the paths finalised and neater this year. Orderly-ish paths balance the craziness everywhere else. So, with this goal in mind, I'm laying down some empty compost bags around the pond, black side up, pinned with metal ground pegs. So far, so good. I escaped indoors when it got too hot, but I'm heading back out now it's cooler to finish up. Our new mantra is, when we stop enjoying a job, we stop the job. That is the new self-care. Okay, my gardeners? Everything gets done eventually, or not, and that is okay. Our June compendium summarises the unfolding events of early summer in a nature garden. Hot days, the foxgloves open, seedhead beauty, planting out cucurbits, leaving the grass long, hail in all its glory, gifting roses yellow rattle, feverfew a grand dame, kale, time for strawberries, jam jars a how-to, life in the green. The asparagus grows up, choosing your path, midsummer, potting on succulents, wild strawberries, froglets though, that hosta, tending the duo apples, eventually. Stop and take stock. Your immenseness is real and unique. In the next episode, we encounter a persistent northerly wind, a juvenile robin, and the heron. It's time to harvest a bumper crop of gooseberries and tickle an oyster. But that's all to come next time.